Alrighty, quick update on what's going on in the shop today. We're waiting on the guy to tell me no, we're not going to put a transmission in this buy here, pay here car. This one is coming up towards some completion. Dave did a boatload of work on it this morning. We have rebuilt the front brakes on this unit. We've got new rotors, bearings in there, new seals on it, freshly packed grease on the bearings because this is a spindle type vehicle. New calipers because the seals were blown out of the old ones, and always I put hoses on with calipers. To correct the pedal going to the floor issue, we put a new master cylinder in because the plunger inside of this unit was bypassing. So you'd give it some brake pedal pressure. The plunger inside of the bore in there, the hydraulic bore, is supposed to produce pressure. Well, if the fluid leaks past that plunger seal, it will produce no pressure. It'll just swirl fluid around inside of it. And if we get no pressure coming down to the calipers, then we get no friction, then we get no stopping forces. I mean, eventually it'll stop, but we want to be able to control the stop. Anywaysers, we're coming over here to this. This is a gem right here. This is an old Ford F250. We have it backed in because we're going to be working on the rear end today. I believe it's a 99 with a 7.3 diesel. Now here's the super duper awesome cool part. It comes fully equipped with millennial anti-theft protection. That's right, we've got ourselves a 4-speed with an overdrive and a granny low. Check that out. It's got granny low. That's a super low gear. That's the kind of low gear. It's so tall that you could you start this engine, put it down in granny low, let off the clutch, no throttle, it'll just start driving away. It'll turn this thing into a tractor. Anyway, it is here because the customer stated, let me read this off here verbatim like, customer states they replaced the clutch in the rear differentials. This has a locking rear diff. They put in a shim kit and a crush sleeve hub for the pinion. The rebuilt rear end went out at around 100,000 miles at a shop. So let's go check mileage. He says the clutches in the differential went out and the customer decided to repair it himself. He's not confident that it was not put back together properly and would like to have it looked at to make sure the bearings and crush sleeve and the pinion are put in correctly. Okay, so we're either going to have to rebuild a rebuilt differential that's already been rebuilt twice, or the customer did a fantastic job. This thing's tuned. Oh yeah, I see what you did. You put it down on tune 1. I don't blame you. I would have put my truck on tune 1 too if I handed it over to somebody. Anyways, let's go see what this beast of a 7.3 looks like, because it's got the horsepower knob. We like the horsepower knob. Let's see what's under the bonnet here on this beast of a truck. Raw. Good old 7.3. That is a dyno diesel all day long right there. 7.3 turbocharged iron horse torque machine. And I see some shiny red stuff down there. I wonder if this thing's got a big boy turbo on it. It says Garrett on there. Let's see, we've got a coolant filter. Yeah, these 7.3s had an issue with what did they call it, like scaling inside the cooling system or whatever, and they advised that you install a filter system to catch the particulate scaling that appears in the cooling system. So that's been serviced. Okay, looking good under the hood here. Nice air filter type of deal we got. That's a big filter. Right on. All right, well, unfortunately for us, we're not doing any 7.3 work. We're gonna go round back to the rear end. That's why we have it backed in. This lift has a stabilizer bar on the rear, but the front of it is open faced. See that? So I can just kind of walk right down there. So we're gonna run this thing up into the air. We're gonna slide down under it with a rolly chair or something of that nature. And we're gonna pull the dip cover off and inspect the internals. So let's run this bad boy on up and see what we can see. I found it. There's the zip tie repair. There's always one zip tie. That's just how it is. All right, we got our clicks. Let's set the lock down, or rack down on the locks for our safety. There's our locks right up there. So we're gonna bring her down. I've never had a car on this lift backwards before. Odd. Okay, pressure is dumped. You know, let's check the ram. I had to have this replaced. This thing suffered the bend pack leaking ram syndrome. That one's doing pretty well. It's been there a couple months. Let's see. Need some tires back here. We're down to the wear bars. Too many burnouts in the Super Duty. So this guy wants me to recheck his work. You sure about that? Because I'm pretty good at scrutinizing things. I mean, you guys saw what I did to this guy with this yellow lemon-looking lemon car right here. If you didn't see that, it was yesterday's video. Go back and watch it. It was quite informative regarding buy here, pay here car lots. I think you guys would benefit from watching it. I'll leave a link for that video probably up here. I hope I get the corner correct. Up top, I'll put it in the comments, and I'll also put it at the end screen at the end of this video. So there's gonna be little pop-ups like here, here, and here, and here. One of those pop-ups will feature that little yellow nugget over there, and it'll also take you. So I'll leave you like 4 different avenues. Description, up here in the corner right now, in screen, here, here, and here, and in the pinned comment somewhere. So I highly recommend you guys go watch that video. Let's go ahead and pull this cover off, crack it loose. Did you put a gasket on this and sealant? You did. You did. That is bad. No, you either get a gasket or RTV sealant. You don't need to use both. Yeah, do not put sealant on gaskets. If you needed sealant, then there wouldn't be a gasket. And if it comes with a gasket, you don't need sealant most of the time. There's exceptions to that, but as a good rule of thumb, don't be smearing sealant all over your gasket material. It serves no purpose except to make it leak. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pull these differential cover bolts out of here and take a peek at the internals. Now, because this truck seems to have the go fast knob, and I hear word of clutches back here, I wonder if it's safe to assume that we've got an upgrade on this differential. I suppose we'll find out. Ruh-roh. Almost. So let me show you guys a cool trick to not catch the rear end lubricant money shot to the face. What we will do, we're gonna put this bolt back in a little bit and the one over here just a little bit. So when we go in behind this with a pry driver and crack this cover loose, it is held to the differential so the thing can't just fly off and then dump a gallon of oil in my face. Because nobody likes getting shot in the face with lubricant. Oh, this looks like really nice, fresh lubricant in there too. That's in good looking condition. I think I kind of might want to save some of that. Let me get a clean bucket. We're going to try to save this oil. Well, we're not going to get all of it, but I'm going to try to collect some of it. I couldn't find a cleaner bucket than this one. So this is either going to be a disaster and I'm going to take it to the face, or it's going to crack open very nicely and I'll be able to recover the oil. Ooh. Well, I'm going to recover enough of the oil to at least notice that it's full of clutch material. It's not as clean as I thought it was. See that? It looks like there's debris in there flowing through. You see it? Maybe we have some destruction going on in here. Okay, I'm gonna pull the bolts back out, remove the cover. Get fingerprints all over it. now I feel bad. Oh, goodness. That's not good. So, look at what we're looking at here. You see all this damage here, all the way around. This damage here on this carrier case is from that pinion gear up there, which is the one that connects to the drive shaft. That pinion gear was slamming into this case while the vehicle was in operation. Now, the only reason that can happen is that pinion gear starts falling out of it as if it maybe tore up the bearing inside, and the gear walked its way backwards and was able to make contact because we were not spaced properly with this right here. I think that occurred after the fact, it looks like, because that pinion is no longer contacting the side of the carrier here. So my work order states that my guy put new clutches in it and new pinion bearings, right? So I think we're seeing the aftermath of that. I don't think they installed a new pinion. It doesn't really look like it. I can't exactly tell from here, but there is some wear marks on it. Maybe it is new. I'll have to ask him and see. Yeah, we've got some gear paint left over right there. I see it. The meshing surface on this ring gear is not that great. There's a lot of contact area. I'm wondering if they don't have that pinion set properly. So let's roll this oil caddy out of the way. See why we backed it in, so I can walk in and out with some ease here. We're gonna drag our jack. Put this thing right back here under the axle. Okay, air hose for the jack. Now we've got a lot of space here. I'm gonna pull these little feet out, put a spacer in to take up some space, put the feet back, and center these feet underneath of the leaf spring U-bolts, right? Jack it up. Centered for safety. ×2. Safety lock. Lock engaged. All right. So now we're gonna hop up in the cabin. We're going to start the engine, put this unit in gear, and get her spinning and spinning and spinning. Oh, super cool. We're gonna get to use Granny Low. I like it. Let's climb in here. I would get Dave to climb up here and help me out, but he's troubleshooting some brake pedal business right now, so I'll just do this all by myself. Key in. Let's let the glow plugs heat up. Park and brake off. There we go. It's so weird up here. We're elevated. Starting the engine. All right, so we're gonna clutch it in. So we got reverse, first, second, third, fourth, 5 overdrive. We're going all the way left and down. That's granny low. That's pull a house down gear. That's going to give us slow speed at the drive shaft. So, clutch it out. Feel a clicking, click, 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 click. It's hard to hear because we're dieseling. So fascinating. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put the camera against this case. You guys might be able to hear the vibration, the clicking noise through the cage and through the plastic. If you can't hear it, sorry, but I'd like for you to be able to hear it. Click, click, click. I hope the microphone picked up on those clicky noises, but I did feel some clicks. Might be a bad spot in the bearing, or potentially it's a damage to the race, which is what the bearing rides on. Shut this down. Power off. Okay, back in neutral. Climbing down. Whoa! I almost knocked my ladder down. I hit it and kicked it sideways like that. Not good. One hand for yourself and one for the boat. Sailboat rules. There we go. Okay. So, we saw the thing in operation. Those left and rights should want to spin independently. I don't know. It's a tough call. So it appears that everything is installed properly. It appears to me that this damage was caused by the previous failure event, I guess when the bearings went out on that pinion up in the front there. That pinion may have been replaced, but I don't think that the pinion depth is set properly because of the wear patterns on this ring gear right here. And the other thing is, if that pinion was replaced, then we're putting a new spec'd pinion on a worn ring gear, and so they're probably never going to mesh together exactly right. It'd be one of those things where you want to replace the ring gear along with the pinion. Now, I think we're over here at the drive shaft again. It turns pretty freely. I'm wondering if we do not have the proper preload set up on this pinion as well. I really don't need to take the drive shaft off to determine that, because I shouldn't be able to turn this thing that easily. I'm thinking this is an opportunity here. I'm thinking it's an opportunity to put in like a spiral gear set, limited slip differential, and get rid of these factory Ford clutches. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it'd be best, because if that pinion's got to come out, and and I find out it's the original one, I'm probably going to want to replace it. Probably going to have to replace the bearings in there, which I see it's got a new bearing, but it's making a noise. So either the race is in sideways or the race was damaged. It's tough to say without disassembling the entire truck. In order to get the pinion out, we have to pull the differential case out. In order to pull the differential case out, we've got to pull the axle shafts out of the tube. And in order to pull the axle shafts out, we've got to pull the brakes back off of it, and wheels obviously, of course. Then we can disconnect the axles, yank those out on both these guys, pull the diff out, and then we unbolt the drive shaft, take the pinion nut off, and then press the pinion back out through the back side. Then we can set it all up again. The problem is I don't know which parts we have in there with that pinion. It says Ford on it. I can see Ford right there. But is it a replacement? Is it the original? I don't like that it was grinding into this case right here, and it was flopping around pretty bad. You can see it from the impact line. See how it kind of walks over this way? That's from that pinion getting caught up and running sideways. I don't like how it has done that. I don't like that I see clutch material on everything. I would say it might be to our customer's advantage to rebuild this again with an upgraded diff that does not use clutches. I'd rather use like the who makes them? Yukon. I think Yukon Axle, not sponsored, that's just stuff that I've sold before. I think Yukon makes differential carriers with like a spiral helical gear, so when you get a differential slip between the two, those spiral gears will force themselves away from each other, and then they'll engage their internal clutches. Slightly different operation than what we're looking at right here, but that's not really my call. As it sits right now, I think it's okay. I'm not too thrilled about pinion preload, but I don't know if we're gonna end up pulling this thing apart and trying to recheck that. It might not be worth it. I think what I'm gonna do is let's put the cover back on it, throw some fluid in here, let's go drive it one more time. I didn't drive it with you guys, and let's listen a little bit more intently for any noises, especially while cornering. The customer's concern was he wants to make sure the clutches are okay. Now, short of having too many clutch packs in there or the clutches having disintegrated, I'm fairly confident that my guy installed them properly because he drove the thing here and it works. I think he's not confident because of this damage right here. So this is, from my point of view, it'd be a real waste of labor money to go in there and check preload on this, take all this apart just to check the preload. I'm gonna leave it up to the customer. It's either I think it's fine, let's let it ride, or let's just go ahead and get rid of this damaged case and upgrade it. I really don't like the condition of this case. I don't like it because it experienced some tremendous forces. Anyway, regardless, let's throw the cover back on, throw some oil in this unit, and take it for a ride and see what it does. Let me show you something real quick. I was starting to peel this thing off. I'm going to show you how easily this gasket material comes off when used in conjunction with sealant. See that? It just peels right off of there, no problem. Yep, that's why we don't do gaskets and sealant at the same time. They don't play well together. So I managed to remove all the sealant on the front of the cover here with just a towel. It rubbed it right off. And I believe it rubbed it right off because there may have been an oil film on this cover prior to the consumer's installation of said cover. So we're going to utilize a partner of the channel's product today, which is available at RaymondAuto.com. So we're going to clean all this business off. That way we have a nice sealing surface. And today's product is none other than my handy dandy brake clean. Thanks, Denko. I love my Denko brake clean. That's why I sell it. It's a personal recommendation around here. Nice, shiny. Get rid of my flangy prints while I'm at it. And I'm not gonna waste it because we have more oil over here and we need an encore presentation. There we go. Hose this off and try to get some of that leftover fluid out of there. Oh, by the way, I know I told you guys I was going to take the drive shaft off earlier. I'm not going to do that. Uh-oh, running out. All done. It's empty. You know what that means? Another! And Dave's not here to give me another one. Womp, womp, womp. All right, enough screwing around over here. Let's wipe off the rest of this old sealant. Make our cover surface nice and shiny. We'll go in here and dab up the rest of it. See how we're doing some overflow business? We want to just pull some of that out of there. Nasty. There we go. So when room temperature vulcanizing sealants such as RTV are applied, surface prep is actually a huge deal. For example, on the Ford 6.7 Super Duties, they have a known problem where the upper engine oil pan will leak oil because it's a sealant type of pan. It's more like a big block skirt, actually. The sealing or the reseal procedure on that is remove transmission, get it out of the way because you can't get the upper pan out with the transmission in position, right? You pull the transmission out, unbolt the upper pan, get the thing off of there. You've got to let that thing drip dry for like 12 hours. So it's got to sit overnight at least. That way all the little runs in the drips cannot migrate their way onto that sealing surface. At the end of the 24 hours, I believe you're supposed to prep it with a surface prep, and then utilizing Ford's sealant, which chemically reacts to the surface prep, it creates that non-oil leaking bond. Now, I don't know how important that is, because if they did that from the factory, then the oil pans wouldn't leak to begin with, but for some reason they leak to begin with. So I don't know if their procedure is correct, but I do know that oil on a surface that requires a sealant is not good, because that oil naturally creates a film, and if there is a thin film over your surface, then your sealant is never actually making contact with the surface, and it cannot grip to the imperfections on the surface to create a restriction or a obstruction for that oil to migrate its way through. So you gotta have that clean prepped surface before you try to reseal it, otherwise you're wasting your time. All right, coming in, got a cover, it's got sealant on it, no gasket. You guys know the drill. If you've been here for a while, we're gonna plant this thing on there just ever so perfectly, using the existing holes to visually realign it. We're gonna come in here, a couple fasteners to start to locate the component so it can't slide around. If we slide this around, it's gonna smear that sealant all over that sealing surface. If we smear that around, it's going to end up inside of the differential, and if it does that, well, it's not going to seal very well, is it? And that would be bad. Okay, so we're going to kind of pinch this down just a bit. Nice, right there. Good seal. Now this cover is somewhat loose, so if I need to, I can adjust it and move it around. We're going to take this quick moment to get the fasteners in, then we'll run through and torque them. Moment number 2, shameless self-promotion. I don't sell garbage lubricants here in my shop, so this thing is going to be getting some Amsoil. I think it's a 75 140 truck. I'll have to look it up. But it's getting Amsoil for sure. The Amsoil does come with friction modifier, so even on an LSD differential or a clutched differential, no additional modifiers, friction modifiers are needed. There we go. Now the flashlight gravity. Now the moment of shameless self-promotion is as an Amsoil lubricant dealer, an authorized dealer here. It's in my interest to offer my Amsoil products to you, my viewers. So if you would like to follow my lead and start using Amsoil lubricants for your vehicles, check down inside of this video's description. It'll take you to my Amsoil link, and anything purchased off of my link will yield me a small commission. Any questions, feel free to email me as your dealer. If you go to Amsoil as a new customer and you want to do that as a long-term thing, sign up to be a preferred customer. It comes with a membership fee. Think of it like a Sam's Club or a Costco membership, where if you purchase your normal schedule of fluids, your savings on your fluid purchases will offset plus the membership fee. You also get access to exclusive deals and discounts, and they will put you in a different pricing category as a preferred customer. I guess that's my third moment of shameless self-promotion. But it is of no matter to me whether you become a preferred customer or not. But like I've told you guys before, the reason that I retail products and services and make recommendations is to save you money, because it is my goal for you to receive value, not just a receipt. We like to deliver value. And if I can deliver value in my store, that's awesome. If I can deliver value on my channel, that's also awesomer. And if I can deliver physical, real world value to you as an actual everyday money spending consumer, then that's a third win for me. And that pleases me. So anyways, I have let the rack down, or the lift, or the jack, or whatever. Let's push this thing back forward, or backwards, that way. And the only thing I've got to do now is throw some fluid in that hole, and we'll let her down and drive it, check it out. Trailer hitch. I just caught a trailer hitch at my Rain Man Ray's Repairs hat. Saved me. It wasn't much of padding, but it was better than my skull. Oh, I walked out. I wonder if that caught that on camera. I walked out and bam! Ran my noggin right into it. You know, I say you only do that once. Maybe it's once a decade. I'm seeing Tweety Bird stars. All right, let's climb back into this dinging cabin here. Let's take this this thing on a test drive. What I'm gonna be looking for, I'm gonna do some slow speed corners. That was annoying. We're gonna do some cornering. We want to create a differential between the two rear wheels. So I want to force those clutches to engage. I might do that at a slower speed. I might do it at a higher speed. I want to hear some chatter or something. Now, where I stand on this is I don't like the pinion noise, okay? So there's a value proposition problem here. Is if I charge this dude rebuild labor to take this all apart and to just put in or redo the pinion, that would not be bueno. So, excuse me, if we're gonna do anything, I'm gonna recommend, I choked on my own spit. We're gonna recommend kind of upgrading the hardware back there because that stuff was damaged. But let's find like a smoking gun or something like that. I know that clicking noise is definitely a smoking gun. I did see a couple little slivers of metal on the magnet. The magnet I'm referring to, there's a magnet embedded on the end of the fill plug in the differential. I pulled that out to refill it, didn't film it because it's just putting fluids in. But I did find a couple pieces of what looks like bearing race material on the magnet. So at this point I speculate that the pinion race where I heard that clicking noise either got a big scratch in it during installation or was not replaced and is damaged from the failure event, or is in, but it's like in a little sideways and the bearings are rubbing and running, not true and flat, but they're running at like one portion of the total race. So it'd be wearing out that one total portion. I don't know yet, so we want to drive it and figure it out, but the preliminary visual inspection did not yield a result. Okay, so let's nose this thing on out of here off the rack. I never pull them out forward, I always back them out. This is so strange to me. What am I doing in first gear? Let's granny low this thing. I have not driven a vehicle in granny low in forever. Okay, I'm off the clutch. And we're just torquing right through this parking lot. It just does not care. It's gonna roll right over top of all these bumps right here. Off the throttle. Just drives right out of the hole. Torque for days, incredible torque. This is an unstoppable force when it's in low range gear. So anyway, well, by the way, when we drive this, we don't start off in low. You can start off in 1, which is technically second gear. I need to figure out what parking lot I want to use. I don't know. A lot of traffic. I hear some rumbling. Yeah, I hear a little bit of something back there. 2 gear. Car wreck. When you can't read the road signs, you wreck your car. That's seems to be the pulse these days of the world. We're in second. Bump this up to first. Bunch of traffic. Nope. They're going fast today. I'm not pulling out. This thing is It's a slow dinosaur. We're not gonna pull out and go fast in this unit. No, I'm just gonna wait for the red light. Before hill start assist, we had to know the friction zone. No fancy computer to tell me when to brake and shift and all that good stuff. It's got good power. I like this truck. 7.3s had a reputation for being a dog, but this thing moves and I know it'll haul the mail. This doesn't move fast, but it'll move weight. Yeah, so we're on a nice smooth repaved road right here, and I hear some noises back there. We're gonna cut this left, get into a parking lot, do a couple circles, I think. We need to get that differential making noise. I gotta hear it. Can't find a good parking lot. Everybody's full. And I'm not driving down to Walmart. We'll go to the UPS place. Yeah, they're kind of empty. Take a look. Do the UPS parking lot. Go in here. Like their call it. It's like a distribution building or whatever, but they've got road access right here, so I'm gonna do a circle or two. So by doing this tight circle, the left side wheel has no choice but to spin more rotations than the right side wheel, which forces those clutches in the diff to rotate at different speeds. I'm not hearing that. I don't hear any chatter coming out of it while it was rotating. I think that what we've got is a bearing race issue on our pinion side, or the pinion preload was too loose and it's flopping around and has chattered up the races. I'm gonna give the guy a ring and let him know kind of where we're at and what I think and what I found so far. And I'm gonna suggest that we disassemble everything here on this and see where those little metal chunks that I found came from. There wasn't a lot of them, but we saw that pinion felt pretty loose. I shouldn't have been able to rotate it as freely as I was. So the pinion felt loose, and I found a couple little chunks in there. So I do believe we've lost a pinion bearing or a pinion bearing race, but we need to do like a full teardown on this unit to get down to those races. So that's gonna require some time, effort, and some dollars. And I know the guy has done this once himself, and he had another shop already do it. I'd hate to charge to do it again, so I'm gonna call him back and see what he wants me to do. If we do that, I'm gonna lean heavily towards upgrading components. That way, at least we can make it worth it, get a little bit of value out of the operation at the same time, and then we'll kind of go from there. So I await my consumer's reply on what he wants to do, and I'm just gonna stash this thing right back here for right now because the parking lot is full. So that being said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. I have nothing more to offer on this truck at this particular time. Let me know what you think about that diff back there in the comment section down below. Don't forget to visit rainmanauto.com to get some more information on the stuff that I was shamelessly self-promoting previously. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a fantastic day. See you guys later in a video, in a day, in the forward rear end of transmission. Man, I forgot, 362,056 miles on the odometer. Powering down.